All right, guys, we're going to talk about what happens when you are trying to lose fat and things stop. All right, I'm kind of winging this. I did not prepare, so if this seems disorganized, it's probably because it is. I had a question in the group. How do you handle weight stalls, right? So the first thing we want to talk about is what is a weight stall. First off, when we're talking about getting healthy, we're talking about improving body composition. We're not necessarily talking about weight, right? We're talking about the difference between body fat and lean mass, okay? We're talking about reducing body fat and increasing lean mass, right? That be your overall weight is a combination of those two things, basically, right? So your weight, what the scale says, is pretty much crap because we don't care about what the scale says. What we're looking at is your body fat percentage, right? Your BF percentage, your BFP, that's what we're looking for. Ideally, for most men, what I recommend is somewhere, for just general health purposes, is somewhere between 20 and 22%. Okay? That's my general recommendation for most people. And a lot of the guys that I work with, they come in and they're in the 25, 27, 28, 30, 32, 40% body fat, and then we try to get them down here. When we do that, we're looking at changing their body composition so they can maintain or increase their lean mass while they're losing their body fat, right? We've talked about caloric deficit, the difference between calorie deficit and fuel calorie deficit, and that's pretty much how we go about doing that. So first things first, we're talking about weight? No. We're talking body fat percentage? Yes. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about is when you get to a point where you want to work on one or two of these things. How do I lose body fat when I get to a point where I'm stalling? How do I gain lean mass or maintain lean mass so that I can continue to improve my body composition? All right? So keep that in mind. Now, fat loss. The number one way to lose body fat, right? Reduce / remove carbs from your diet. Okay, we know that. We're all in this group. It's a zero carb, low carb group. This is what we're talking about, right? The second way, you're going to reduce, there's no remove, but we're going to reduce exogenous, if I can spell this right, just because it's a big word, exogenous fats. Okay? What that means is you're going to basically go from what is commonly considered in the keto world a keto diet, which is most people consider keto to be a high-fat, moderate protein diet. Okay, what you want to do if you want to maintain, decrease body fat is increase your protein, which we'll talk about next, or reduce the fat that you eat. You don't need to add fat to everything, guys. I did this when I first started for about 4 or 5 months. I was doing bulletproof coffee every morning. I was doing like 3 tablespoons of butter in my eggs with tons of eggs, 6 to 8 eggs a time, right? So I'm getting the yolks, I'm getting the butter. I would cook all my food in butter. Like I was getting so much fat. And initially, when I first started, because the elimination of the carbs, transitioning to a ketosis primary fuel system, ketogenic fuel system in my body, I saw a lot of fat loss. I lost I think in the first couple months, I probably lost almost 9% body fat, right? And then it just went, stop, done, right? So what I had to do then is really think about what am I doing with all this extra fat? I don't need the extra fat. The human body really only needs, and everyone's a little bit different, but let's just say somewhere between 30 grams to 50 grams of fat ingested a day. That's really all you need to survive, okay? To not get what we call rabbit starvation, not get that protein poisoning, and have the fat that your body needs. That's it. You can live off of this, right? If you're active, obviously maybe a little bit more. I've seen some people that are more around the 70 gram range, But in general, most people can live off of that. Now, you don't have to, but the more you limit, the more you're going to see this drop, right? Because it's just fuel. That's all it is. It's just fuel, right? If you have too much, you're going to see this go up. It is possible to eat too much fat. It goes both ways, guys. Just like with carbs, right? The difference is with the carbs, you're getting the inflammation, you're getting the oxidative stress, you're getting free radicals, you're getting anti-nutrients, you're getting all the other stuff. With fat, it's pretty much just going to be body fat, right? Now, so step 1, to increase your body fat burn, reduce carbs. Step 2, reduce extra fat. Step 3, prioritize the protein. All right, prioritize the protein, right? We talk about 1 to 1, 1 to 0. I say 1 to 1 and I write 1 to 0. We talk about 1 to 1, okay? My recommendation for everybody starting out is 1 gram of protein to 1 pound of lean mass. So if I have 165 pounds of lean mass, then I'm going to eat 165 grams of protein every day at a minimum, okay? What this does, it does a few things. We talked about this in some other videos. You're going to feel more full. You're going to get less calories for the nutrients that you get in. You're going to increase your thermogenesis, so you're actually going to increase the amount of energy that your metabolism uses every day, and you're just going to, in general, enforce by what you're prioritizing the protein, you're not going to be able to eat as much fats, right? So eat the protein first. Whatever fat comes with it, cool. Don't add fat, right? You get both of these at the same time, okay? And then the last thing, this is real simple. There's really not much more to that. Prioritize the protein. If you feel like you can do more, if you're active, if you're doing CrossFit, if you're a bodybuilder and you're in the gym three hours a day, if you're a triathlete, you definitely need to probably eat more, right? So you can go up to 2 to 1, right? 2 grams of protein per, well, let's do this. Let's make this so it's a little easier to recognize. We'll do 1 gram to 1 pound, right? You can go 2 grams to 1 pound if you're super active and you really need that extra recovery, if you need the extra muscle growth, if you need all that stuff. Increase the protein. Our bodies are the storage for protein. There is no excess, there is no upper limit on the amount of protein that you can take in, okay? There's an amount that you can eat at once because you're just going to be full, but that doesn't mean a couple hours later you can't go eat more and your body won't use it. The whole idea of our body can only absorb 30 grams of protein at a time, whatever, has some validity when we talk about being in an anabolic state and actually the growing muscle. But from a utilization of protein in your body, there is no limit. You just eat what you need to eat, especially if we're just talking about changing body composition, okay? If we're talking about applications for bodybuilders and high-end athletes where they need to grow muscle and they need to be in an anabolic state as often as possible, then we get into nutrient timing and we talk about protein, when you should eat and how much you should eat at a time. But in this instance, and for 99% of the people in the world, this is what I would recommend, okay? The last thing, right, is look at your exercise. I tell you what, this is not the last thing. I just had one more idea that we'll talk about. Exercise, right? Your exercise should be such that you are utilizing as many muscles as possible, that you are getting your heart rate up, and that you are requiring your body to use up as much fuel as possible, all right? The more activity at the higher intensities that you can do, the more you are going to tax your system and ask your system to give it fuel, which is going to help increase the amount of fat that you burn. Plain and simple. That one is real easy. You've got to do exercise, right? Your exercise needs to be high intensity, right? It needs to have resistance, right? Weights, right? And it needs to be varied. Don't do the same thing all the time. Switch it up. Do some HIIT, do some endurance, do some weight training, do some isolation, do some complex barbell movements, things like that, okay? Get some kettlebells in there, get some dumbbells, do some wall balls, do some plyometrics. Do some stretching and mobility. Like, do all that stuff. Vary what you're doing. Make sure you're doing stuff with resistance and weights, and make sure you're doing it at a high intensity, okay? If you're not doing one of those things, that could be one of the reasons why you're not losing fat. The last thing we have, and this is really important, it's something that people don't really talk about a lot, because a lot of people don't like to do it. Right? It's kind of the antithesis of what the carnivore zero carb diet is, right? We talk about all the time, eat meat, drink water, and your life will be better, and everything's solved, right? People don't like to track what they're doing. It's one of the benefits of being a carnivore is you don't need to track. And I totally agree with that. As you understand what you're doing and you get a good feel for how much you need to eat and what you're trying to do, in most cases you really don't need to. But if you feel like you're at a point where something's not going where you want it to go, you're not getting to where you want to be, you're going to have to start tracking something. You can't make adjustments. You can't change things if you don't know why you need to change it, what you're changing, and then how that change actually affected you, okay? So if I need to lose body fat, I've been losing body fat, I get on a scale, I do my in-body or my DEXA scan, and it says I'm at 11% and I'm trying to get to 9%. It says I'm at 25% and I'm trying to get to 20%, whatever it may be, and I've been stuck. Every time I go there, I'm still at 25%. What am I doing now? Document it. What am I eating? What is my exercise plan like? What's happening, so that I can then say, okay, of these things on this list of what's currently happening, what do I want to change to see what's going to happen and how that's going to affect me? Okay? I look at my list. I've got, here's my exercises, here's what I've been eating every day. Let me take this out of what I'm eating every day, put something else in, or just take something out in general, eat more of something else, whatever it may be. Make a change, one change. Try that for 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? I recommend 3 to 4 weeks at least, all right? Look at that again. Do my scan. Did my body fat change? No. Okay. What do I need to change this time? And then keep doing that process. If you're not collecting data, when you try to make changes, you're going to be all over the frickin' place. You're going to get frustrated, you're going to give up, and it's going to suck. Okay? You've got to know where you are, where you're trying to go, and what changes you're going to make that you're going to track and see how they work. Okay? So those are the 5 things to break a weight loss. Any one or all 5 of those things could get you moving forward. If you guys have any questions, please ask in the group. I will try to answer as many as possible. If you know anybody that is looking to get started in doing carnivore or zero carb, if you know any guys that are struggling with their dad bod or just trying to figure out how do I get to a point where I can do more things, be active, and do whatever, just send them my way, guys. I do online coaching, and I work with guys all the time. So I would love to have you guys, because you already know what it's about. You already know what it can do for you and what it can do for the people that you know. So please send them my way. I'd love to help them out. And I'll catch up with you guys later. See ya.